My name is Sharm Allen, your Knox County District Attorney General. When people think about the criminal justice system, they typically think of proceedings that happen inside a courtroom. You probably also know that a large portion of the work we do actually takes place in our office before we step into that courtroom. That work includes things like legal research, motion practice, and trial preparation. But did you know that the District Attorney's Office does a tremendous amount of collaborative work with our law enforcement and community partners as well? Our office serves on numerous investigative teams and task forces that strive to increase public safety for our community. For this video series, Outside the Courtroom, members of Team Justice will sit down to talk about the work that they do that people don't often get to see. Thank you for tuning in.
So with our unit in particular, it's a little bit different than some of the other units in our office. Some of the other units mostly get their cases when somebody is arrested and they end up in general sessions, felony sessions or misdemeanor sessions court. For us, obviously that can happen, and what would happen really is that a police officer might call us that's out on a scene. He says, I have such and such going on, what do you want us to do? And so we can make a determination of either to take a warrant out on case or to prepare the case for the grand jury and have the grand jury start really with the charging instrument in that particular case. And so a lot of times we first become aware either from a call from an officer who's on scene or from a case that's going through CPIT, through CIPIT. And what CIPIT is the Child Protective Investigative Team. And that is a group of law enforcement, so it would be KPD and the Sheriff's Department and any other local law enforcement, the Department of Children's Services, our office, the DA's office, East Tennessee Children's Hospital members, which would be like doctors and nurses who deal with sexual abuse or physical abuse cases, juvenile court, and then the last member is Child Help USA, which is the people that are trained to do forensic interviews of kids who have been abused. And so those members will all sit, and there will be a presentation of our case where we talk about what happened, and then we'll make a determination of whether for purposes of DCS we want to substantiate or unsubstantiate a case. If a case is substantiated, then that case will automatically come to our office for review. Of course, at that point, we know a little bit about the case, but we'll begin our review where we look at any interviews that have been collected, any physical evidence that's been collected. We might bring the child in and talk to them about what has happened. And then, of course, the investigation that's done by law enforcement and DCS will look at that in its entirety and then make a determination, is this a case that we want to present to the grand jury for purposes of charging an individual with a crime. So the difference between what CPIT does and what we do is obviously we're involved in both, but with CPIT, that is for purposes of classification through DCS. And then when we get the case for the full review, that is for purposes of, do we want to proceed with a criminal prosecution in this case?